Welcome to the CFB Dynasty podcast with hosts Matt Knowles, Brian McElfresh, and Doug Gravely.
Hey everybody, how you doing out there? It's time for another CFB Dynasty podcast where we help you take your college fantasy football experience to the next level. BMAC, our streak has been broken. For a couple of weeks, we had Doug Dynasty with us. BMAC, tell us where the heck Doug is today and why it's not here.
I don't know. He's probably at Publix. Priorities are a problem. Hey, you got to make your choices. It's too close to football season for me not to favor anything football related. Got the video game that came out and all the feels. It is feeling close, and I can't wait to have our draft and be in other drafts and run our open league draft and all that stuff. That's going to be a blast.
So today we're going to talk about a couple of quick things. One of the really cool things, I actually had somebody message me recently and asked me when the cheat sheets were going to be up on the CFB Dynasty site. And I'm like, I know that BMAC has said it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. And that timing is now today. The cheat sheets are up. We know that the Dynasty and the Devy sheets are up there, still trying to get the standard one up there, but the standard one has actually been created.
It works for me. So that's the bug that we have right now, where it's like, it might take you 6 clicks and it's super frustrating for me. I thought we had this bug fixed already, but apparently not, because I have got a couple emails too where it's just not working sometimes, and it's intermittent. So it's there, it's available right at Draft Central or on the cheat sheets page. I just hope the link click works for you on the first try instead of the 8th try.
Well, we're going to look over those cheat sheets. So the cool thing about them, if you've been in any draft of any kind anywhere, you know that there's a cheat sheet that's available, whether it's on CBS, whether it's on Fantrax, so that you can see all the rankings. This is the same style. So the rankings we've been going over in the different areas, this is basically just a culmination and a concatenation of all these things together, so that way you've got a printable sheet that you can go and take to your draft to mark off the players that are here and there. But we're going to go back and take a look at those rankings here in just a minute. But first, BMAC, gonna have a little question answer interview, me to you right now.
All right.
Big week this week for college fantasy football fans. It's been over a decade. The memes have been running wild. From NCAA 14 now to college football 25. You've got the game. You've been playing it. Give us your initial thoughts right off the jump. What are your first impressions of the game?
So the first impressions start when you load it up. So we had the speakers, the subwoofer booming in the house. And, I played a couple games in the swamp, of course. And I think the Gators defense overall was pretty realistic, and they sucked. So it was really, really difficult to stop anything. I went on the road after that at Doak and had all the anger happening with War Chant playing so loud in my living room. But I had that game in the bag, took the lead with like 40 seconds to go, and then DJU takes them down the field in like 3 passes to score a touchdown and win the game. Man, I just couldn't stop anything. If I'm not getting a user pick, then it's a touchdown for the other team pretty much. It's a lot harder to play defense. However, on offensive side, it's really cool with the revamped passing system where you can, if you let's say you got a wide receiver running a streak down the left sideline, and you can see the man defense is like in lockstep with him. You can now use the left joystick to throw it back shoulder if you want to, or lead him to the middle of the field or whatever. Like, that is way different and really cool. So if you have a great quarterback, you can really use that to your advantage.
I read something about that in some of the articles, where if you played the original iterations of the game, that was like a pick 100% of the time. You could not throw a ball over top of a DB on the sideline like that. It was always going to be one of those off the trampoline, guy's going to be 12 feet in the air getting the pick. So it's good that they've actually fixed that and made that more realistic.
And so all the what you would think of like a gadget play, like a quick wide receiver screen or an ender, like a one of those touch passes. They're not like consistently working or not working. So I think that's good. Whereas in the previous game, if you ran a read option, it was very easy. You make the right read, you're pretty much guaranteed 6+ yards. It's not like that anymore. You know, if the other team has a really good D line, it is legit, and they're tough. Also, the road or like the home field advantage is a big deal. So if you're on the road and you just pick this play and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to hot route this guy to that. Well, that button might not be available to hot route him if he's like the far left or the far right receiver, or if he's a freshman or whatever. Like, it's super fun. It's really good. Team Builder came out a couple days ago, so I haven't messed with that at all, but the website is there, and apparently like all the customizations you could want are available. And if they're not, then you can build it still.
So do you feel like, as someone that played for hours and hours and hours and hours back in the day, do you feel like that this is the game you've been waiting for over a decade to come out? Do you feel like it doesn't just feel like it's NCAA 15, this actually feels like it's a decade in the making, in a sense?
Absolutely legit. The only problem with me is being able to play defense. Other than that, it's great. Every little thing almost that you would want is in the game. Very well done. The details are incredible.
Well, good stuff. So obviously this is a fantasy football podcast, and we're mostly going to be talking about fantasy football stuff, but that's something that's very important to a large percentage of college football fans out there. So that's why we're talking about it. So the topic of the day today is going to be the cheat sheets. So BMAC, let's go through the cheat sheets. Let's start with which one do you want to start with? I guess let's start with the Dynasty one, just because we know we can both get to it right now.
Oh, I can get to them all.
You can. I can't.
Oh, it's so frustrating. All right. So if you come to the website and you go to Draft Central, this is the hub for all of the rankings and cheat sheets. These same links are also available on the cheat sheets page, obviously. But they were just updated this morning. The cheat sheets finally finished this morning. And man, it's a lot to keep up with. Over 2,000 players ranked. Obviously not as many in Devy, because not everyone's a pro prospect. But man, it's a lot to keep up with. But they are available. And here, like if you're looking on YouTube, of course, you can see the screen there with cheat sheets at the top of your redraft leagues, your dynasty leagues, and Devy. So,
and guess what? It's actually coming out. And maybe the system on your side just needed to refresh on the servers or something like that, because now I can get to all of them.
That's good. Yeah. Like I said earlier, sometimes you maybe have to click 6 or 8 times, and that really is painful for me. So working to get that fixed. But these will dynamically reflect the rankings. So if you go to any of the individual player rankings pages, you'll get more information there than you do here. And so you can go into quarterback, but the cheat sheet, like Matt was saying earlier, a lot of people use it. They'll print it out or whatever, and they'll be able to cross people off as they're drafted. Now
the thing too is if you're Gordy Miller, you would probably take this cheat sheet and you would go hand write everything from it onto the yellow pad of paper, because that's the only thing that works for him.
That is valid. I did have a couple people ask, and it looks like I haven't pushed it live yet, but I do have the class or whatever the players, whatever Fantrax has them at, I'll say, for what year they're in college. Again, it's weird where, you can go to a player that has 4 years of data and ESPN lists them as a sophomore. It's just really not helpful. So I didn't really include that originally, didn't plan for it, but I do have that in there. I just need to push it live to these other rankings pages.
So is there anything on here that you want to call out as far as these sheets. So I guess a good question for you is this: when the rankings get updated in the lead up to the draft season, as the regular season is going on, how will this sheet be updated compared to the regular rankings page, or will this sheet be updated compared to the regular rankings page? Is there a stopping point? How does this align to the regular rankings that are put up onto the website?
It's connected. It's totally dynamic. So back in the day, CFB, this is our 10th or 11th year. Every time I would have an update of a player, I'd go into every rankings and then also in every cheat sheet and make that change. Now it's dynamic. Everything is connected. So if a change happens in the rankings because of an injury that happens, we've got camps starting within the next 10 days or so, I think. So news and all that stuff's about to happen, which gives me about 10 days to chill probably on this, which is really nice because, as you could imagine, with all these players, just putting that last link on the Draft Central to where it feels like done. At least it feels done for 10 days. That part is great. But it's going to automatically update all year round. So all summer until we get through draft season there and go into the weekly rankings during the season. So you won't want to print this out now or download it now and not re-download it before your draft. So having it fresh for the draft is super important. We do have the print option, Excel file download, the CSV file download, or the little search function there. So if you're looking for a certain player, want to see where he's ranked, you can search him right there. Or really for the cheat sheet, though, the goal is making it easy for the drafts. And so we've got the team, the player, and the bye week listed there.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Is there anything specific you want to call out between the three? How about Devy? Is there anything on the Devy cheat sheet that you're like, wow, there is a big change from, because the standard and the dynasty are going to be somewhat similar, but then going to Devy, you're looking at a whole different set of data. Anything you want to call out, but from Devy, from the other two?
Well, everybody who's listened for a while or knows me, they know I love kickers, but we don't have Devy kickers. Sorry. So there's just quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end on Devy. And of course that one doesn't go 2,000 deep because there's not that many players that are, NFL potential. So those are not as deep as the other ones, but everything's there and ready. We do have the player class there listed on Devy currently.
Well, I can tell you one of the things, just pulling up Devy in comparison to Dynasty and Seasonal, because we've been talking about those for the last couple of weeks. I know this really isn't a Devy show, but if you look at that, the running backs especially are wildly different for pro potential. The 1, 2, 3 in Seasonal, the 1, 2, 3 in Dynasty, those don't even start coming in until number 7 on Devy. So Omarion Hampton, Ollie Gordon, Ashton Genty, those guys are the 1, 2, 3 consensus for Seasonal and Dynasty. But for pro potential, those guys are not there. Pro potential, you've got Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia. Those are the teams that have got their running backs up there at the top, which if you look at historically, that is probably where those guys are going to be coming from. So
Yep, exactly. So it's different. And I would say also, I don't even know if we talked about this, but our Devy show that we did, which was right around the NFL draft, of course, a lot of leagues will run their Devy drafts right after the draft. And so it was a nicely timed show for us, but that was our most popular show, I think, by a long shot on YouTube at least. But I'll pull that up and whatnot later. But anyways, these are all available and live, and nothing really to call out specifically other than that there's going to be loads and loads of updates.
All right, good stuff. So I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to talk about. If we can make this a super short show today, just to make sure that people know that the cheat sheets are out there, because that's been probably one of the most heavily asked questions that's out there, because that's something that makes it really easy to go prepare for your draft. I guess the one thing to let people know is this is something that is only accessible if you are a subscriber to CFB Dynasty. If you are not a subscriber, this is not free content. This is not something where you're going to be able to go and get this on a free site. So BMAC, why don't you help them understand where they need to go on the website if they want to become a subscriber to CFB Dynasty?
Yeah, sure. So we have a team of us, of course, led by me a lot of the year, where all year long we're building up to this point where these links can be filled out and have some data-backed, solid rankings. And we provide all that data and everything there for you to evaluate, or use differently for your league, or maybe you have a half-point PPR instead of 1-point PPR, whatever. That's all there for you. Yeah, so if you come to the site, you'll see the little countdown anywhere on the homepage, the cheat sheet page, the Draft Central page. So you just log in for the premium content to view it, and this stuff is there for you for the draft. And this is awesome. I love draft season. It's super fun, obviously. But then we get into the weekly stuff where we have weekly rankings specific to the week based on your player, their trends, the data, their injury status, the matchup of the week, how Vegas kind of will help influence those rankings is a lot of fun for us, where certainly the over-under and the spread play into how many potential points are likely to be scored, I guess, per team. And then us kind of factoring in, all right, what percentage of those points is this player going to get or that player going to get? So we get deep into the data, and it's a ton of fun. Of course, everything is provided for you to kind of see exactly the thought process. And so you can make your own lineup decisions and your own draft picks and all that stuff. But yeah, that's really it. And if you have any questions, I'm very accessible via email, on the Discord, and just here to kind of help you guys out, and stuff we love. So it's fun.
And definitely want to make sure you get up to the CFB Dynasty Discord group. That's something that's very active throughout the season. People are asking start sit questions. They're giving scenarios for DFS, for all that. It's great to be a part of that community, and also to be a part of the CFB Dynasty Open League. Last year we had 24 people from all across the country. Some people had never played in fantasy football leagues ever before. Some people were fantasy football experts. So it was neat being able to see all these people be able to interact on a weekly basis in that league.
100%. And we do need to meet this week and talk about it and kind of nail down the Masters League and the Open League and start getting those drafts set up and ready. So let's make that happen. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine. Make it a short show. We've got that is going to be a big focus for us, and doing a dynasty mock is going to be probably next for us. And then we're going to start having news and adjustments and all that stuff to go over actual football updates.
That's right, because we are only 31 days out, 32 days out from the CFB Dynasty Home League draft.
That's right.
So yeah, we did draft season is happening hot and heavy for us at the CFB Dynasty Home League. So we know some of you guys. I know I've got a draft that's going to be in 21 days. So draft season is coming up quick, and we're sure it's going to be coming up quick for you guys. So it is huge for you to become a subscriber to CFB Dynasty, so that way you can help take your college fantasy football experience to the next level. BMAC, anything else you want to say in closing words?
Yeah, the subscriber thing is great. Of course, the socials is big. Like if you subscribe to YouTube or interact with us in the socials, that helps with the algorithms and whatnot. And it's really meaningful to us. So we appreciate the back and forth. And yeah, reach out if there's anything you need. And we're here to help you dominate your league. So really, that's all I've got, Matt. I hope you guys have a great weekend of CFB 25, and maybe you're wrapping up SEC Media Days, I think, today. But yeah, that's all for now.
All right. On behalf of Brian McElfresh, my name is Matt Knowles. We appreciate you guys coming out today for another episode of the CFB Dynasty podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the CFB Dynasty podcast. Help us out by subscribing on YouTube and reviewing us on your podcast network.